Man's Search for Meaning is a book all about the lessons Viktor Frankl learned from being a prisoner in the concentration camps. It's a really powerful book, and I took a lot of lessons from it. I'm going to share the top 5. Lesson 1. Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. Remember that in any situation, you can choose how to react. You are not experiencing the world. You're experiencing your thoughts about the world. Imagine there's a final filter between the real you and the outside world, and that is your thoughts. You can control that final filter. Eleanor Roosevelt said, "No one can make you feel inferior without your permission." Imagine 2 healthy men are in a car accident. Both are paralyzed and lose the ability to walk. The first man feels extremely hard done by, becomes really depressed, and wishes he had been killed in the accident. He feels miserable. The second man, in the exact same situation, decides to do the opposite. He chooses to feel gratitude for the fact that he survived. He feels like he was wasting his life before, so he goes off and achieves great things despite his disabilities. He feels liberated and doesn't fear the things he used to. He says that, in some ways, he's grateful for the accident because it woke him up, and he's now seizing life and feels much happier than he used to. I highly recommend practicing meditation each day, even if only for a few minutes, because it allows you to separate yourself from your thoughts and have an objective view on situations. This makes it feel like you're watching them happen to someone else, allowing you to react much more logically and not feel as emotionally attached to bad situations. The more you meditate, the easier it will become. Marcus Aurelius said, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." So, choose your own way to react. Lesson 2. You aren't searching for a life of peace. You are searching for a life with a purposeful struggle. When most people imagine their dream life, it's something like sitting on a beach with a nice drink, relaxing with nobody telling them what to do. They have enough money to do whatever they want, and people think this will make them extremely happy. As I've never lived this life, I can't say for certain, but I believe that what would happen is people would enjoy it for some time and then feel extremely bored and lost. You see this happen quite often with celebrities who sometimes turn to drugs to get some excitement back in their lives. Obviously, this has terrible consequences. So, what should they do instead? Viktor Frankl teaches that people really want to work towards something in their life that has a real purpose. You want a purposeful struggle, something to work towards that isn't instantly completed, something that you have to chip away at each day. For me, it's this YouTube channel. Most days, I just chip away, writing small parts of scripts for videos, and it makes me feel great because each day I'm working towards helping people improve their lives by explaining various concepts. This is my purposeful struggle, and it's not always easy, but that's what makes it so satisfying when a new video is completed, because I know all the effort that goes into it. What purposeful struggle should you work towards? It's a difficult question to answer and obviously different for everyone, but the advice I'd give is to think of something greater than yourself and then just try lots and lots of things. Keep spending your time searching and learning. Don't stay in a job that you hate. Lesson 3. Almost all of what you fear is not important. Viktor Frankl explains what happened to the prisoners after they were released from the concentration camps. There were negatives, but the biggest positive was the liberation the prisoners felt. They were liberated from any fears they used to have. In comparison to the concentration camps, their previous worries were insignificantly small, so they felt empowered to do whatever they wanted with their lives. I had depression before, and I felt terrible. I often couldn't get out of bed because I couldn't imagine a positive future. Before I had depression, I used to worry about what other people thought about me and never properly tried to work towards anything huge due to fear of failure. I always wanted to make a YouTube channel, but I never did because I didn't have the drive and was worried about what other people would think. After getting through depression, suddenly, all of that didn't matter anymore. Having depression allowed me to gain real perspective and see how insignificant my previous worries were. I was just happy to be feeling better, and I couldn't wait to start working on a YouTube channel, so I fully committed to creating this channel. I'm so glad I did. I absolutely love what I do. Here's a great quote from the book that will guide you through life. Live as if you were living for the second time and the first time you lived as wrongly as you are now. So, remember, almost all of what you fear is not important. Lesson 4. Have gratitude for very small moments and simple things. People always want more. Have gratitude for what you have now so that when you do have more, you'll have gratitude for that and actually enjoy it. Otherwise, you're always chasing something in the future, and the grass will always be greener on the other side. Seize any moment that life gives you to smile properly. Stop and appreciate it fully. One of the simplest ways to instantly have more happiness in your life is to practice mindfulness and be completely mindful in happy moments. Mindfulness is simply living in the present and practicing getting out of your head and into your body, not thinking about the past or the future, just focusing on the present. One of my favorite quotes of all time comes from the film Kung Fu Panda, where Master Oogway says to Po, "You are too concerned with what was and what will be." There is a saying, yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, but today is a gift. That is why it's called the present. In the book, Viktor Frankl explains that one night, one of the men rushed into the cabin and told them all to come quickly and see the most incredible sunset. Frankl said it was a fantastic sunset, and the sunset was one of the few things the guards couldn't stop them from enjoying. If you're ever overwhelmed, just look at a sunset and remember that it's the exact same sun that Frankl looked at and enjoyed so much. When I do this, it instantly makes me appreciate my freedom and everything that I do have, and suddenly any worry shrinks to its proper size. One of the simplest ways I've found to feel happier in my life is to think of 3 things each night that I really enjoyed during the day. Sometimes I can have it in my head that it's been a bad day, but when I think about those 3 things, I realize that actually, it's been a really great day. I'd highly recommend trying it. Also, appreciate any moment of laughter. Viktor Frankl had a friend in the camps, and the two of them would try each day to tell the other something funny that would make them laugh. Patch Adams is one of my favorite films of all time. Here's a quote from it about the power of laughter. Remember laughing. Laughter enhances the blood flow to the body's extremities and improves cardiovascular function. Laughter releases endorphins and other natural mood-elevating, pain-killing chemicals. It improves the transfer of oxygen and nutrients to internal organs. Laughter boosts the immune system and helps the body fight off disease, cancer cells, as well as viruses, bacteria, and other infections. Being happy is the best cure for all diseases. So, have gratitude for very small moments and simple things, and laugh as often as possible. Lesson 5. He who has a why to live can bear almost anyhow. Viktor Frankl got through the terrible time in the concentration camp because he knew he would take what he was learning from the situation and write a book. He knew that the book would really help others. He chose to focus on how he was going to help other people because of the situation he was in, and he didn't focus on the terrible things that were happening around him. He thought of something bigger than himself. The way other prisoners got through the camp was to be extremely generous, giving away some of their food to other prisoners. This gave them a huge sense of purpose. These prisoners gave themselves a real purpose, a reason to keep going. They had a big why because they were staying positive for all the prisoners. When you're working towards something, you'll find it much easier to keep going if your main aim is something bigger than yourself. The aim of this YouTube channel is to improve the lives of millions of people around the world. Because this aim is so great and much bigger than me, it keeps me going in times when I'm finding the work difficult. So, to summarize, everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. You aren't searching for a life of peace, you're searching for a life of purposeful struggle. Almost all of what you fear is not important. Have gratitude for very small moments and simple things, and laugh as often as possible. He who has a why to live can bear almost anyhow.